Honey Don't is a crime thriller neo-noir comedy film directed and written by Ethan Coen and Trisha Cook. This is the second film of his loosely connected lesbian B-movie trilogy that he's done. The previous film was Drive Away Dolls, which I thought was just all right. This one is about Honey O'Donoghue. She is a beautiful lesbian private detective who is investigating a client who called her, but they never met, and then she ended up dead in a traffic fatality. And then she starts linking several more murders to a vicious church that also has some drug trafficking sort of stuff going on, run by Reverend Drew, who's played by Chris Evans. So Honey starts investigating. There's some other subplots thrown in there involving a romance with a cop, another old man, and the disappearance of her niece. So this movie is definitely a mixed bag for me. I had trouble focusing in the first half of the movie because it was really slow. It was so slow that a man in my theater literally fell asleep for a large patch and was snoring buzzsaw-like levels of snores. Had to get someone to wake him up because he was, snoring during the silent parts, and even when gunshots or loud things were happening in the movie, he was still sleeping through the entire thing. So the first half hour was a little bit distracted, and it is a very slow film. The movie does pick up into some more stuff later on in the second half, but overall this movie is definitely a little bit indulgent. It kind of feels, they try to describe this as like a B movie, so it's supposed to be like a cheap kind of pulpy film. A B-movie was explained by Mariana Colin. She's known as The Morbid Zoo on YouTube. B-movies were basically created by a studio. A studio would have their tentpole blockbuster film with like Clark Gable, and then they'd have like a cheapy movie, like could be a horror monster movie about an evil giant bat or something, or like a cheap monster movie. They'd also throw news in there. You pay the ticket price and you get an entire day worth of cinema. So you can get the A feature, the B feature, the news in between, maybe cartoons as well. And then the theater was also owned by the studio as well. So back then in the day, that's what a B-movie meant. And this movie doesn't feel like a B-movie. It's definitely got the crime thriller element there. And some, the Coen brothers are known for quirky, weird crime thriller movies, usually in the South. Weird, kooky characters with accents or rich themes and like weird motifs and things like that. They have a very varied work when they work together. However, these crime movies aren't anything special, to be honest. I do love the cast. You've got a wonderful cast of really good-looking people. You got Chris Evans, Charlie Day, Aubrey Plaza, Margaret Qualley, but they don't get to do much in the film. The movie's described also as a comedy, and I didn't laugh very often. There's a lot of awkward moments in the film, and sometimes the movie's editing is weird because they'll just linger for just a little tad too long, and it gets really awkward, maybe because the movie's barely an hour and a half and doesn't have much of a story. But the second half is all right, I guess. It's a little bit shocking, but honestly, if you told someone that this was a Coen brother movie, like one of the Coens, you wouldn't be able to tell. It's missing that sort of thematic heft and the sort of weird symbolism or imagery. The story just wasn't quite enough. You can't just say this is going to be awesome because it's got lesbians in it, and there's some nudity in the film, but I don't think that sort of makes up for the rest of the movie being kind of limp. And overall, I do like to see Margaret Qualley in a nice leading role, but this movie definitely was not enough for me. So I give Honey Don't a 5 out of 10.